Hello learners, I welcome you all to these sessions, introductory sessions on performance management. I am Dr. Chandrakant Sahu from Institute of Management and Information Technology, Cuttack. Today, in these sessions, we will have a review of the syllabus. Since it is the introductory sessions, I would like to make a review of the syllabus. I will also would like to cover this performance management revolutions, how performance management as a concept has evolved over the period of time. Okay. So then we will also discuss the conceptual framework of performance management. So let us review the syllabus. The syllabus is performance management system. This is the syllabus of Biju Patnaik University of Technology, Odisha. Okay. So, the course objective is to describe the nature of performance management and outline the core objectives of performance management. Second objective is to identify the different performance appraisal techniques that can be used by organizations. So, from the students' perspectives, what is the course outcome? Students as HR managers, if students join as HR manager, they will be able to measure performance of individual employees and control them to achieve to great objective of the organization. This is the course outcome. Basically, if a student join in HR professions and if he works in the area of performance management, he will be able to develop this performance management system. So as you know that the course is having three modules. Module 1 is all about conceptual approach to performance management. Under this, there is an introduction to performance management, the process, implications, principles of performance management, benefits, performance management strategy, performance appraisal and potential appraisal. Okay. These are things we will discuss. Meaning of performance appraisal, methods and approaches to performance appraisal, obstacles in appraisals, and potential appraisal we will also discuss. I think many of the students or most of the students must have studied in the human resource management paper. So we will also discuss all these things. In module 2 is all about measurement or measuring performance. So criteria of performance measures, classifications of measures, types of measures, balance or that is types of measures, organizational measures like balance scorecard, EFQM. Okay, this is European Foundation for Quality Management, and EVA, or this is called economic value added. So these are the performance management at organizational level. Team, individuals, and guidelines for defining performance measures, performance reviews will also discuss. So second part of this module is all about reward system and legal issues. Performance management linked reward system, reward management, objectives component of reward system, linkage of performance management to reward and compensation system, do only what you get paid for syndrome, types of pay for performance plans, individual based, team based, plant wide plans and corporate wide plans we will also discuss. So last module, that is called third module. So the application part, performance management applications and improvements. This is the practicing part. Performance management in practice, performance management in manufacturing and service sector, strategies for improving performance, analyzing performance problems, performance counseling and coaching, concept, principles and skills we will also discuss. Okay. So let us move on. So performance evaluations, um, this is performance management, the evolutionary construct. What does it mean? How performance management as a concept has evolved over the period of time. So the idea of abandoning the traditional appraisal process and all that followed from it seemed heretical. Okay, sometimes it seems impractical or it is not generally accepted. But now, by some estimates, more than one third of US companies are doing just that. From Silicon Valley to New York and in offices across the world, firms are replacing annual reviews with frequent informal check ins between managers and employees. So, as you know, that now many of the modern methods have come up, and it has been seen that, or many of the critics also opined that traditional methods are getting outdated. So, as a result of which, tension grows out of this. Okay. So, the tension between the traditional and newer approaches stems from a long running dispute about managing people. So, do you get what you get when you hire your employees? Is it happening when you hire, or when one HR manager or HR hires one employee? So, does he get what he gets at the time of interview? Should you focus mainly on motivating the strong ones with more money, or with money and getting rid of the weak one? So this is also one. So whether, so firing, this second part tells about firing, get rid of the weak one. Okay. So and strong, those who are good performers, they have to be motivated, and those who are not able to perform well, they have to be fired. Are employees malleable, means easily influenced? Can you change the way they perform through effective coaching and management and intrinsic rewards such as personal growth and a sense of progress or the jobs? Okay. So when people are not able to perform, will effective coaching and management and reward mechanism work? So these are the things, these are the questions being asked. Okay. So let us see how accountability, how accountability and development, okay, have played the significant role in employees performance. Okay. So this is the evolution part. So red color, it is highlighted in red color. This is called accountability was there during that periods. People were accountable. Okay. But those who are not accountable for their performance, what does it mean? Means they are not able to perform, and they were fired at that time. Okay. But development part, when you talk of, so at that time, when people are not able to perform, so there was some sort of developmental mechanism was working, because HR or at that time management was giving emphasis on the development of employees. Okay. So this is a third way. Okay. Hybrid model, this is. Okay. If you see the World War One, you see World War One, United States military created merit rating system to flag and dismiss poor performance. Means United States military honored the meritorious employees, and those who were not able to perform, means poor perform, they were dismissed. So here performance accountability. We talk of performance accountability. But during World War II, so the army devised force ranking to identify enlisted soldiers with potential to become officers. Okay. So this the force ranking, if you see that, if you have remembered, it's a kind of traditional method where that supervisor is forced to rank, or forced to rank the employees. Okay. So this is during World War II, the army devised force ranking to identify enlisted soldiers with potential, those who are potential, those who were potential soldiers. So they will be promoted to become officers. So here what happens, those who were not that much potential, they were not fired, they were not dismissed. In 1950s, social psychologist Douglas McGregor argued for engaging employees in assessment and goal setting process. Okay, so here during this period, so assessment and goal setting got priority. Okay, so this is a hybrid model in 1960s. It is led by General Electric companies. Okay, companies began splitting appraisals into separate discussions about accountability and growth, and to give development its due. That means it's the combination of both accountability and development. Okay, so in 1970s, once again accountability resumed. So inflation rate shot up and organizations felt pressure to award merit pay once again more objectively. So accountability again became the priority in the appraisal process. In 1980s, this is also accountability. So Jack Welch championed force ranking at General Electric to reward top performers, accommodate those in the middle, and get rid of those at the bottom. You see, get rid of those at the bottom. So there is some sort of firing trend. So those who are not able to perform, they were certainly fired. So this was the practice. In 1990s, McKinsey War for Talent study pointed to a shortage of capable executives, reinforced the emphasis on assessing and rewarding performance. Okay, so McKinsey did a survey during this time, War for Talent, that in the title of the report, and it has identified that is because this is the period when the border was opening, there was globalizations, okay, privatizations and liberalizations trends were there. Okay, at that time there was a requirement for huge talent. Okay, so as a result of which there was a shortage of capable executives. Okay. So therefore motivation comes once again reinforced the emphasis on assessing and rewarding performer. In 2000, organization got flatter. There was structural change. Means prior to that, most of the organizations were having tall structures. Means narrow span of control. So here once again organization got flatter. Means so the span of control got widened, which dramatically increased the number of direct reports each manager had, making it harder to invest time in developing them. Okay. In 2011, Kelly Services was the first big professional services firm to drop appraisals. So appraisal was not needed there, and other major firms followed suits, emphasizing frequent informal feedback. So formal feedback is not given importance. So informal feedback was given. Okay. So in 2016, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and others were tried going numberless, are reinstating performance rating once again. Okay, but using more than one number and keeping the new emphasis on developmental feedback. So the development once again took the front stage in performance management. So this is the conceptual framework. Basically, if you see, we will discuss here a definitions. Okay. So a large body of literature has been developed in the field of performance management, exhibiting it as an holistic, integrated, and strategic approach to deliver sustained success to organizations by improving the performance of the people who work in them and by developing the capabilities of team and individuals contributors. Okay, so it is strategic in sense that it is concerned with the broader issues facing the business if it is to function effectively in its environment and with the general direction in which it intends to go to achieve long-term goals. So basically, if you see, compensation management connected itself to the strategic goals, strategic objectives, mission, vision of the company. Therefore, it is strategic in the natures. At the same time, it is also holistic. Means it is connect overall to all the departments. Okay, so it is also integrated in four sense. One is vertical integrations, means it links and aligns business, team and individual objectives. Functional integrations, linking functional objectives in different parts of the business. Human resource integrations, it links different aspects of human resource management, especially organizational development and human resource management and reward, and to achieve a coherent approach to the management and of development of people. So the integrations of individual needs with those of the organizations as far as it is possible. So this is the concept basically, this is the concept. It is holistic, it is integrated, it is strategic. So let us discuss about the performance management process. Okay, so there are 5 steps: planning, developing, monitoring, rating and developing planning. Okay, so planning, this phase of performance management process includes establishing job descriptions and identifying the employee's essential function, as well as defining the strategic plans of the department or the company as a whole. So at what level there is planning? One is organizational planning, and then departmental planning. Then at the individual level there is also planning. At the individual analysis, what is required? So job analysis must be carried on. So job analysis will provide us job description, that is job attributes. So accordingly people can be engaged in the jobs. Okay. So next, developing. So this process of performance management includes developing performance standard. Okay, performance standard which offers a scale that describes how a specific job should be performed in order to meet or exceed expectations. They are explained to newly hired employees and are later used to evaluate work performance. Okay, so this is key performance indicators. If you see the development of this standard, performance standard is something that we call, it's a performance benchmark. Benchmark means against our performance index, against which individual performance, employee performance can be measured. So when you develop certain performance standards or performance criteria, the most significant aspects at this stage, that this performance standard has to be communicated. Sometimes what happens at this stage, some companies, they practice MBO or management by objectives, which is a goal setting process in which both supervisor and subordinates sit together, discuss what should be the departmental goals, what should the team goals, and what should be the goals at the individual level or performance standard at the individual level. That is documented. People or the supervisors, the individual employees, they agree to it, they document it. So this is developing. So developing, when we talk of, so developing performance standard. So next one is monitoring. This phase of the performance management process includes monitoring performance work performances and giving feedback about them. As the basis of feedback, observations should be verifiable. They should involve noticeable and work related facts, events, behaviors, actions, statements, and results. Feedback of this type is called behavioral feedback, and they help employees improve or sustain good performance by precisely identifying the areas that the employees need to improve without judging his or her character or motives. So, during monitoring, so this is indeed the implementations. Okay, performance management implementation stage. So, when there is or performance is being delivered, so there should be some sort of monitoring mechanism to see that, so as per the plan, things are implemented. In case of any sort of deviations in performance delivery, okay, so there, so performance feedback can be rendered. Okay, so it requires also a kind of climate, because how this feedback is taken uh, by the concerned employees, that has to be seen. Therefore, what happens here, so the constructive climate has to be developed, as a result of which the feedback is taken positively by the employees. Okay, so next, the rating. So now performance is delivered, now it's time to rate. This phase includes conducting performance evaluations. This is the critical aspect of the performance management process, especially because it is important for the performance managers to arrive at an unbiased assessment. So it's really, it is required that the performance assessment has to be unbiased. It should be free from bias. A performance appraisal form has to be has the following features. So a performance appraisal form must have employee informations, performance standards, rating scales, signatures, employees performance development recommendations, if there is scope for development of the employees, the recommendations, employee comment that employee can also comment, that there should be space for comment by the employees, employee self appraisals. Why conduct performance appraisals means, it is the purpose of conducting or organizing this performance appraisals assessment. It provides an opportunity to improve performance in the future, not only for the employees but for the manager as well. So development needs. So performance appraisals enable managers to acquire information from employees that will help them make employees job more productive. So this is the rating stage, appraisal stage. This is called fourth stage is appraisal stage. Then development planning. This phase of performance management process includes establishing plans for improved employees' performance and development goals. This advances the overall goal of the company and at the same time increases the quality of work by employees by encouraging constant learning and professional growth. So, learning and professional growth, this is okay. So, helping employees maintain the level of performance that meet expectations, improving job or career related skills and uh, experience. So, you see, this can connect both, means individual employees and the organization. In closing, performance management is a process that, when executed fairly and effectively, can improve the quality of the company's workforce, raise standards, increase job satisfaction, and improve professionalism and expertise that would benefit not only the employees but the entire organization as well. So, just this is a just one overview of performance management system. The difference between, if you see, this is the foundation work for performance management, and that it must have a goal, like set organizational goals, then objectives, organizational objectives are also defined. A, a goal can be defined as the purpose towards which an endeavor is directed. In personal and organizational development terms, a goal is the main single aim of an entity. Okay. So, for example, an an organizational goal can be that it wants to be an employer of choice. But objectives, if you see objectives, objectives are the elements which together achieve the goal. For example, to achieve the market, the organizational objective can be like to increase the market share by 10% or 20%, or to reduce employees turnover by 20% or 10%, like that. Okay. So objectives are always measurable, if you see. Okay. So this difference between a goal and an objective is the element of measurability. Objectives are the overall strategy by which the organization intends to achieve its goal. Okay. There is another aspects also, if you see. Okay. So this is organizational goals, then objective, then organizational structures has to be also seen. Then role defined, then competencies also defined. Okay. So these are the groundwork, foundation work for performance management system. So similarly, when we develop a performance management system, we must have that organizational objectives, and this organizational objective must be cascaded to the lower level, like department level and individual levels. Okay, then individual objectives defined, okay, at the different, so organizational one level, then department level, then individual level, that is also defined. So work is undertaken now. So now everything is clear, like, so what job has to have to perform, who will perform, so detailed roadmap is given. Okay. So individual work is measured. Once roadmap is developed, performance is delivered. Okay. So individual work is measured after that. Okay. So then when performance assessment is done, it can meet the objectives or fall short of performance standard. Okay, fall short of performance standard. If they fall short of performance standard, then remedial actions can be also taken. This is called developmental sides of performance management. Remedial action means there can be training and development, there can be constructive feedback. Okay, so that can be taken positively by the concerned employee so that he can improve and deliver the desired performance. Okay, so or here redefining. So here we must also know that some of the significant terms or terminology regarding this performance management system. So key result areas. Let us talk about key result areas. Key result areas or KRAs are called key performance areas. Refer to general ideas of outcomes or outputs for which a role or a combination of roles is responsible. These are the areas within the organizations where an individual or group is logically responsible or accountable for the results. So, a set of key performance indicators, this is called KPIs, are established to measure performance in key result areas, and by definitions link back to the achievements of department, organizational objectives, and the organizations or the achievements of the organizational goals. Putting it all together, goals, objectives, key result areas, and key performance indicators come together under the banner of performance management. So, goals, objective, key result areas, and key performance indicators are uh, collectively essential elements of the performance management cycle. However, within the cycle, some have a long term focus and some have a short term focus. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. We'll have another sessions next time in the next class. Okay, so let us have a review what we have discussed today. Okay, we discussed three things. We discuss uh, we review the syllabus, what we are going to cover or discuss in this syllabus. We also discuss about the performance management revolutions. Okay, how as a concept it has um, that evolved over the period of time, means over the 120 years. Okay, then we discuss about the conceptual framework. Okay, so these are the aspects we have discussed, and we'll stop here. Thank you very much for today.